I've been cooking seriously for 20 years, yet at the moment I have a fear of not going into the kitchen, not knowing what to cook, kind of no ideas. I'm afraid to even create, to just let myself go, just in case what I create is not good, it's not perfect. I guess I strive too much for perfection. I mean, I've got so many recipe books and I'm afraid of opening those recipe books and being fazed by having to go and get ingredients. I tend to stay safe with what I know. I never used to be like this. I've created and I've cooked some really great food over the years, but lately the chains have just been kind of shackling that creativity. I needed a spark to lighten those fires again, a force to break those chains. I needed to understand how to cook again, not just how to make things. To understand ingredients and tastes and flavors and textures and techniques. I needed to go back to basics. Again, I needed that spark. And then one day recently, I found it. It was a lunchtime jaunt to an Italian restaurant in inner Melbourne's Lygon Street, kind of the home away from home. It was Italy that provided that spark for me. Now, King and Godfrey, the Italian grocer's cum restaurant, was the place. I remember just kind of eating a simple ravioli in a butter sauce, but everything about its simplicity was just wonderful. It was the hint of the nutmeg in the cheese filling. It was the delicate yet slightly resistant texture of the pasta. It was the decadence of the butter sauce with its kind of little minute explosions of salty vinegar from the capers. In that moment, it made me think about how I approach cooking, about making the most out of ingredients I have, and also looking for the best I can find. So after kind of eating this ravioli, I started pondering about, when I go to Italian restaurants and I might taste a ragu or a gnocchi, chili oil, or even like polenta chips, and I'd wonder why my home cooking didn't quite match with what I ate at these restaurants. My cooking was close, but it was never quite there. After finishing the ravioli at King and Godfrey, I then perused their deli, and it was like a melting pot of inspirational ingredients and produce, but I just wanted to find the secret of taking my food at home to their level. And then the answer was right there, right in front of me. It was a cookbook. So I bought it, and as soon as I got home, I read through, I studied. There were recipes and stories that accompanied them. And for me, it was just an epiphany. At home, I was just making food. I had stopped questioning the why or what. It was just how. And so when I began to understand that was the spark of rekindling that cooking within. And that spark started with passata, a simple tomato sauce. This sauce made me understand about doing the simple things really well. I think sometimes we're looking for the perfect ingredient, the perfect dish. But sometimes we need to be just more pragmatic, to take advantage of what we have, what's available, what we can afford. So in that, it's important that we treat everything with respect and try and get the best out of it. So for example, today, I would love to have some fresh San Marzano tomatoes or in-season ripe Roma tomatoes. But as I am not in Italy, and it is winter here, I have to use what's available. But that shouldn't be an excuse to not cook to just the best of my ability. So look, tinned tomatoes on the whole are great, but I discovered the taste of tomato sauce inspired by King and Godfrey, made with fresh tomatoes. It was kind of the difference that took my final pasta sauce from this kind of level to a level I've been trying to find so desperately. When ripe Roma sauce tomatoes are available, I do use them, but for most of the year, I kind of use these tomatoes. And they are the kind of cheapest, most generic type of tomato, but within they are still a treasure trove of taste and flavour. They're pale and firm when I buy them, and just completely devoid of any character. However, when we let nature take its course, when we let the sun and the daylight work its magic, just for a few days, these tomatoes, they suddenly begin to submit, they darken, and they start to exude that, I would say, a tomatoey fragrance. And we then turn them into a tomato sauce, a passata that exudes, I'd say, umami, sweetness, acidity, freshness, and there's actually even notes of rose and violet in there, which the great food writer Harold McGee explains are fragments of the carotenoid pigment, a result of actually cooking these tomatoes. So this tomato sauce I use as a base for my pasta sauces. I'm talking about a meat ragu or a simple pomerolo sauce. I even use it in kind of a French style ratatouille, or actually in a Sri Lankan style chicken curry. It brings with it character and versatility. yeah, this simple tomato sauce was definitely my spark.